About 2 years ago, buyers were paying more and battling multiple offers just to live here. Today, that same house sits for over 100 days with zero bids. The Columbia market just shifted, and most people haven't even noticed. Hi folks, it's Brent Downing with the Downing Group at Keller Williams. And in this video, I'll show you why that happened and what it means if you're thinking about buying or selling in 2026. All right folks, wait until you see these numbers. They might surprise you. And once you see what's driving them, you'll understand why the game has changed as we head into the next year. At the beginning of 2024, we had a little over 1,400 new listings in the Columbia area. In July of 2025, that number was over 1,800 new listings. That's about a 50% jump. Homes are sitting longer too. Back at the end of 2023, the average was 43 days on market. Now it's more like 50 days on market. The pace has cooled somewhat, about 6% year-over-year growth. The market's not running wild anymore, it's leveled out. But the thing is this slowdown doesn't mean less change. In fact, it's setting the stage for something bigger. When you mix this inventory shift with the new development projects we'll look at in a few minutes, that's when the real story comes out. And that puts us in the highest inventory we've seen since before the pandemic in 2019. If you remember those days, this is what buying used to feel like. It means you can line up a few showings in one weekend, take your time with inspections, and even negotiate repairs. Before we keep going, I've got a quick favor to ask. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. After almost 2 decades of helping folks move here to the Midlands, I started this channel to share what I've learned along the way. I'm passionate about what I do, and my goal is to make the market easier for you to navigate. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Okay, and here's the thing you won't hear from agents. This surge isn't happening everywhere. Some price ranges and neighborhoods are still tight. Others have homes stacking up fast. Knowing the difference can save you tens of thousands. The Central Carolina Realtors Association data shows something important. A lot of sellers who stayed quiet during the market frenzy are finally listing their homes. And that's opening the door for buyers to see places they couldn't even look at a couple of years ago. And that shift is creating a window of opportunity. Smart buyers are using the extra time and extra choices to land homes they couldn't touch in 2 or 3 years ago. But before we get into that strategy, you need to see the pricing paradox that's showing up right alongside these inventory changes. Check this out. Inventory shot up last year, but prices didn't act the way we'd expect. Usually more homes for sale and longer days on market push prices down, but not here. The median home price is sitting at $283,000, up 2.5% from last year. Not a crash at all, but nowhere near the double-digit growth we saw in 2022 and 2023. Now this is where it gets interesting. Different parts of town are telling totally different stories. Forest Acres climbed 5%. Downtown jumped 6.6%. Meanwhile, some suburbs stayed flat or even slipped a little. Okay, this is what you need to pay attention to. We'll talk about interest rates next, but know this, they can swing your monthly payment by hundreds of dollars. Timing and location together make a big difference. Here's what I mean. Forest Acres median price is $335,000 compared to the overall $283,000 in the Midlands. That's a $52,000 gap just based on where you buy. Price per square foot ranges also. Knowing these numbers can save you from paying way too much. And don't assume the whole market is moving the same way. Some neighborhoods are heating up again, while others that looked strong last year have cooled way off. Federal Housing Financing Agency shows prices here are back to steady, normal growth. No more of that wild speculation-driven market from the pandemic years. What might surprise you is that existing neighborhoods can run 20 to 25% cheaper than new builds with the same features. So what's driving all this? It's not random. Job growth, new projects, and one big shift we saw for the first time in 18 months. Areas close to employers like USC, Prisma Health, and new developments are holding their value. Areas that rely on residential demand, they're slipping a little. For the first time since October of 23, rates have finally dropped, and that single shift is giving buyers leverage we haven't seen in years. Mortgage rates dropped down to around 6.5%, down from almost 8% late last year. Yeah, that's still higher than the 3% rates we saw during the pandemic, but the impact on your payment? Huge. On a median-priced home, buyers are saving about $230 a month compared to when rates peaked. Let me show you why that matters. A drop from 8 to 6.5% gives you about 15% more buying power. If you were approved for a $250,000 home at 8%, you might now qualify for $290,000. $40,000 more house without paying more each month. Rates in Columbia usually track the national average, but lenders are fighting for business right now. Some are offering rate buy-downs. Others are rolling out flexible programs for first-time homebuyers. Bottom line, shop around. And let me tell you, our mortgage company we work with, Blue Sky Mortgage Saver, they are worth a call. Google them, Blue Sky Mortgage Saver. And this gets even better if you're looking at new builds. Builders are stacking extra incentives on top of the lower rates, which could save you even more. And the real game changer is that even though rates have come down, they're still high enough to keep a lot of sellers from moving. They're sitting tight on those 3 or 4% loans from a few years ago. That means fewer homes on the market, and with less competition, smart buyers are landing homes for under asking. Deals we couldn't even dream about during the peak frenzy are happening right now. We'll dig into your action plan later, but I'll say this, the next 6 months could be the sweet spot you've been waiting for. And don't let the numbers fool you. The difference between 8% and 6.5% might look small, but on a $250,000 mortgage, it adds up to almost $2,800 a year. Over the life of the loan, we're talking tens of thousands. Even cash buyers are coming back. But unlike the pandemic rush, it's more balanced this time. We're seeing a healthy mix of cash and finance buyers, and that balance is creating real opportunities. And you know what? Lower rates are only part of the story. There's something else about to open up even more options, and most people don't see it coming. While you weren't looking, Columbia approved enough new housing to change the supplies picture for years to come. The Crystal Lagoons project in Northeast Columbia is adding a 3-acre lagoon with completion set for late 2026. It's a full-on lifestyle community with the beach-style amenities right here in South Carolina. Major projects are reshaping things around here too. One example is Grand Arbor in Blythewood, which broke ground last year on more than 90 acres. Homes by Pulte and Syntex run between $310,000 and $340,000. The community includes a pool, lake access, sports fields, and trails. Basically suburban living with resort-style perks. What's interesting is how these new neighborhoods tie into the cash buyers we'll talk about shortly. They're attracting very specific type of buyers that are reshaping the entire market. And one place you can see that trend is Victory Woods Village, launched earlier this year by Veranda Homes and Stanley Martin. Prices run from the high 270s to the low 300,000s. It sits along Colonels Creek, connects to Richland 2 schools. The mix of natural setting and city access appeals to buyers who want the best of both worlds. Builders like D.R. Horton, Pulte, and Stanley Martin are active across Lexington, Irmo, and the Blythewood area. We're talking about neighborhoods that will house thousands of families in the next few years. Prices go anywhere from the low 200s on up into the high 6 figures, hitting multiple buyer segments. But the most exciting part isn't what you'd expect. These communities are solving Columbia's biggest lifestyle gap: resort-style amenities without the drive to the coast or the mountains. Now those features are right here in the Midlands. Right now, buyers have the chance to get in these neighborhoods before they're fully built out. Early buyers often lock in better lots, pricing incentives, and get the experience of watching their community grow around them. All this new supply is great news for buyers, but it raises a bigger question. Who's moving to Columbia to fill all these new homes? The folks moving here may not be who you think, but the key thing about them, they're reshaping the market in a big way. Net domestic migration is strong across the metro. Richland and Lexington are now 2 of the fastest growing counties in the state. And the thing is, it's not people moving across town. They're coming from all over the country and settling here for specific reasons. I am here at downtown Lexington, South Carolina, just strolling through the main street where you have a lot of shops and probably 8 or 10 hip and trendy restaurants. It's just really kind of a quaint little town now. Traffic through here during the weekdays can be a little rough, but it's a nice relaxed atmosphere at night. So you can come down here and get a drink or eat dinner. The biggest feeder areas I see are mostly up in the Northeast, Rust Belt, and so on. They're still popular feeder areas for the Midlands. These aren't bargain hunters, they're professionals who want job opportunities, lower costs, and a better quality of life. Not to mention, less property taxes, and the political climate is much different here. And this ties right into the infrastructure projects we'll cover later in your action plan. The timing on those is adding value that most people don't even see yet. The new workforce is a big piece of the puzzle. Prisma Health and Lexington Medical Center are expanding. USC keeps growing as a major employer. This afternoon, I thought I would bring you down to the Horseshoe at the University of South Carolina. Gamecock Nation. This is kind of the central part of campus, kind of an open area. If school were in session, you would see students just jam-packed throughout this Horseshoe. and just kind of a gathering place for all the USC students. Government jobs stay steady, and advanced manufacturing is heating up. Scout Motors alone is bringing 4,000 new jobs here next year. Now, here's what makes this wave different. These buyers are showing up with higher incomes and higher expectations. They're used to communities with top-notch amenities that's pushing demand in the new neighborhoods we talked about earlier. And get this, cash buyers make up about a third of all purchases here. A lot of them are relocators. They're selling in high-cost markets like New York or California or places like that and paying with cash and still coming out ahead. That's why you're seeing cash offers in price ranges that catch locals off guard. These aren't just any buyers, they're setting new price floors in certain neighborhoods and driving demand for homes with very specific features. USC enrollment with a record number of 40,000 students this year adds another layer. With about 30,000 of them living off campus, it creates steady rental demand that gives owners stability. But the migration story is bigger than USC. We're seeing corporate relocations and remote workers choosing to live here for the lifestyle. So with everything going on right now, more inventory, steady pricing, lower rates, new developments, and this migration, the big question is, what does it mean for your next move? Now, I need you to pay close attention because I'm about to break down exactly how to win in this market. No matter if you're buying, selling, or investing, this year's forecast shows prices growing around 3%, and that's steady and healthy. It protects equity but doesn't push buyers out. So buyers don't need to panic, and sellers can still build wealth. It's a good balance. Big projects are adding value in key spots. The Assembly Street grade separation is a $204 million job that will ease traffic and improve connections. And believe me, people that go through there every afternoon, they're going to be very thankful when that thing is done. The Bull Street Health Sciences campus is a $300 million build that's bringing in high-paying jobs and boosting the housing market nearby. USC has 40,000 students now. About 30,000 live off campus, as I said earlier. That steady need for rentals and houses gives property owners a safety net. And it's one reason neighborhoods close to campus keep going up in value. Columbia's metro is on track to hit over 700,000 people by year end. Pair that with job growth and the new projects, and you've got a solid base for long-term demand. We're not looking at bubble growth here. What we've got is slow, steady, and sustainable. But timing is everything. Right now, buyers have a window we haven't seen in years. More homes on the market, prices holding steady, lower rates, and new builds with modern features. For sellers, competition is back, but it's manageable. Nothing like the chaos of 3 years ago for sure. So what should buyers do? Take advantage of these choices out there. Be picky. Use longer days on market to get inspections and negotiate repairs if necessary. Shop around for lenders and lock your rate before it ticks up again. For sure, check out the lender I recommended earlier, Blue Sky Mortgage Saver. Google it, Blue Sky Mortgage Saver. John Morgan, the loan officer there, will show you how competitive they really are. And don't overlook new developments if you want modern amenities. For sellers, here's the shift. You're not in the wild seller's market anymore. Price your home based on real sales, not what you heard last year. Get it ready to compete with new builds and well-kept resales. And be realistic. Homes are taking long to sell now, but the right price still moves them. The next 6 months can be the best shot since 2019. Buyers can breathe and shop without panic. Sellers can still get strong prices with steady demand. The key is knowing how your price point and your neighborhood fit into this new market, because it's not the same everywhere. Columbia's housing market has shifted from pandemic chaos to real balance. And knowing these changes puts you ahead of most buyers and sellers. The market's grown up, it's healthier, it's more sustainable, and that opens the door for more smart buyers and sellers who understand what's going on. If you're ready to take advantage of this market, reach out to my team at the Downing Group. Shoot me an email at brentd@thedowningteam.com. We'll put together a market analysis that's specific to you and help you time your move the right way. Whether it's your first home, you're moving up, or you're looking at investments, we've helped thousands of families do the same, and we can help you too. Now, speaking of opportunity, there's one spot just outside the city where buyers are getting in early ahead of a massive economic boom. Click the video on your screen to see why this fast-growing suburb could be your last chance to buy before Scout Motors adds 4,000 jobs and drives prices even higher. Have a great week.